Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and we have an outstanding show for you. We're talking Lies of P. We're talking Atomic Heart. The new commercial just dropped, and wow, talk about marketing. Microsoft, if you're watching, take cues from that, brother, because that's what we want to see moving forward. Bring us back to the Xbox 360 days. We're going to be talking about Hogwarts, and we are awaiting Infinite Umbra's return because he wanted to lead the conversation on that, and I want him to talk about it because, quite frankly, it is my game of the year. I cannot stop playing it. Last night, just before I went to bed, I had tweeted, I checked on my friends list. Now, I have an extensive friends list, which is awesome. I'm very lucky to have that many people that want to be friends with me on Xbox Live. At that moment, 68 plus people on my friends list were playing this game. Folks, look, I get it, controversy and all. And you know what? At the end of the day, have your views. Have your views, right, wrong, or indifferent, or in the middle, or on the left or right, whatever makes you happy. But we're here for gaming. That's what we are here for. And my God, at every turn in Hogwarts Legacy, I find something new, a new area, a new spell, a new enemy, something growing in the ground to pick up. It has been, when I say this, and I don't mean this facetiously in any way, it's magical at every turn in this game. It's again, for me personally, yeah. I mean, look, I'll say this. I have the same feeling of excitement that I had with Elden Ring last year. That is the best way I can describe my feelings with this game. Every time I turned on Elden Ring, it was something new. And if I got my teeth kicked in, I went away and got some levels and came back and did justice. And that's the same way with with Hogwarts. I keep saying Harry Potter, but let's get into the intros. And we're going to start first with our special guest, Mr. Badbit, making his return to the Xbox Factor podcast. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. How's everybody doing? Hey, can we put that intro back up? I need the bump. I need the something.
Yeah.
He needs the boom.
Sean Labrie has once again just knocked it out of the park. And what he did, and obviously he made an original one for Double Barrel Gaming, and then he remixed every one of them for every one of the shows. It's just brilliant.
So so this one's the Wub Stub one. The next one, I'm thinking it's all just
no. It's exactly the same, just different characters and different shows.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. I'm the Scat Man, BoomStick XL. Yeah. No, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to talk all sorts of things. Lies of P. Ooh,
Joe, that's good. Your game. That's good. That's it. It has a lot of buzz behind it. They're calling it this year's Elden Ring.
Oh, let's not.
That's a tall order.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man.
Let's not get freaking nuts here. But all right.
Well, listen, you know what? We're going to get into it. What I'm going to try and do is bring the news trailer up. IGN had an exclusive on it, so obviously I'll share the screen so you guys can check out the trailer because it's magnificent. And again, it's one of those things. Like I said, I will consistently stand on my stone here, folks, and expect and want Microsoft to do better in their marketing. We're going to get into that, but you cannot argue what they're doing on the Game Pass side. Atomic Heart next week, Lies of P, Wulong. I mean, there are some bangers, if you will, coming into the service, and it's again, you must tip your cap to it. And if you're not subscribed, folks, I don't know what else needs to be added to the service. Now, yeah, of course, I get it. The first party stuff is not there still. and we know that it's going to be a big year. But my God, talk about third-party dominance. This year is going to be big. But Retri, Mr. Game Pass himself, what's up, brother? You're going to have your work cut out for you. The year
Yeah.
started out a little slow, but as we kind of roll through February into March, you're going to be putting down the hours for making these videos.
Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of games coming out this year. Third party for Game Pass is looking really solid. I mean, like you said, Atomic Heart, Wo Long. We got, thanks Sony, MLB. We got Minecraft Legends. Last Case Benedict Fox, which looks pretty cool. You get Elder Scrolls chapters and stuff like that coming out. And that's just the stuff that we know we have definitive dates for. There's so much stuff. Man, I got I'm close to 60 games on my list that are coming out this year.
Unbelievable.
So, and there's all kinds of little stuff that pops in, like smaller games that just pop in out of nowhere that are a little bit older but still some decent games. So yeah, it's going to be very, very busy this year. But I'm excited to talk about Game Pass because I still think it's the best deal in gaming, and I don't care what the haters say. So.
Yeah, well, the haters need to, like I said, I put it to this way. There are a lot of PlayStation players that show up to the show, which of course everyone is welcome here. And one of the things that when you look into potentially investing into a new ecosystem is cost. And right now, cost is a problem for a lot of folks. I have to count, I have to watch what I'm doing with certain things. Like, I can't splurge on games because I'm a retired guy and everything costs a lot of money. I mean, just about everything. So when you look over, if you are a PlayStation player, if you're a Nintendo player, let's say, for instance, you're a Nintendo and a PlayStation player and Xbox has never been your bag, I think that now is probably the best time to get into the ecosystem simply because there is the Series S that's under $300 and your investment into trying new games and getting new games at $15 a month is very, very hard to argue and makes it getting into a new ecosystem super easy. Microsoft just has to be better about advertising to those folks that are not a part of the ecosystem yet. And we're going to get into that. But Daniel McG, master of the long content, brother, what's going on? How you feeling?
Pretty good. It's been a real fun week for me between just being a wizard and finishing up a little bit of Hi-Fi Rush. I mean, I've been having a good time.
Yeah.
So I'm living large.
You know what? Great time to be a gamer, folks. And we're only at the mid part of February. We still have, 10 and a half months left of incredible experiences. Listen, we're going to get into it, but Infinite Umbra, what's going on, brother? You are Mr. Wizarding World. You wanted to talk specifically about the fun you're having, and your fun should be bringing fun to others. But on Twitter, not so much. A couple of people calling what you're doing and your excitement as childlike. I find that to be ridiculous. How you feeling, brother?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, Boom. I'm feeling good. Good morning, everybody, by the way. Yeah, I feel like if that's the case, if that's how they feel, it is what it is. I think no matter what you do, somebody's going to find something to complain about or say about anything. But once I get, my Avada Kedavra, it's over with. I don't care what they're talking about. Avada Kedavra. I'm going to be up there just taking everybody out. So I don't care. Slytherin gang, by the way. Where you at, team?
Oh,
right here.
Wow.
Dude,
no way.
I didn't do it on purpose. The game's like, you're an evil person. I was like, damn it.
They knew. Yeah.
They do. I
That's
told my
funny
wife
because,
and she was like, oh, that's not surprising. I was like, what the hell does that mean? That was,
somebody else
my
told
wife.
me that too. They were like, oh, it makes perfect sense. I'm like,
yeah, right.
You know, it's funny. We took the Harry Potter test. My wife and I through the app, and she was 1,000% sure she was Slytherin. Like she's like, yeah, I'm gonna be Slytherin. Turns out that the couple that wizards together stays together because we're both Hufflepuff. So there you go. And speaking of couples, speaking of love and inclusiveness and just, celebrating today, Mrs. BoomStick and I wanted to do something very special for the community because we love you guys very much. And as just a drop in the hat kind of a giveaway, we're giving away 4 $25 gift cards to 4 members in the community, $100 giveaway, just because, well, it's Valentine's Day and we want to give back as we always enjoy doing. So we're going to give 4 gift cards away, and we'll announce those winners, those 4 winners midway. I'm going to put everyone that gets in here into the picker, let the picker do its thing. And even if you're outside of the country, folks, if you're in Europe, if you're in another part of the world, don't sweat it. Mrs. BoomStick and I will send you over the $25 through PayPal and pay the transfer fee. And, when you're a winner, you're a winner. So don't sweat that at all. But listen, let's get into one of the smaller topics. This is a bit. I'm going to start with Daniel because he called it. Microsoft did not show up at the Super Bowl, and what they did on social media was 3 posts that said the big game. That's how marketing thought it would be cool to include themselves into one of the biggest, most watched spectacles of the year to start the year. Obviously, there are some other big ones. The Game Awards, which we know people are still reeling over them not showing up there. There was some reason for it, I suppose, but they didn't show up at the Game Awards. We do know that they did start the year off with an amazing, absolutely astounding showcase to show off a couple of games. We've said this before, that developer direct is how they need to do it moving forward. But Daniel, you called it. You said you did not expect them to drop $7+ million on a 30-second commercial for Starfield. I was hoping for a bit of a surprise, specifically because it's Bethesda. Now, we do know, folks, that even though Microsoft owns Bethesda, they do have their own marketing department, right? Xbox has their marketing team. Bethesda still has their own marketing. And we've seen them do some crazy cool marketing before. I was hoping for something extraordinary. I didn't get it. Daniel, you're not surprised. Talk about it, brother.
No, not for a second. It's one of those things where it's like, first of all, video games like almost never show up at the Super Bowl. Like basically never. I think there's been 18 times in recorded history that we can point at and be like, yeah, at that time, like Dante's Inferno got a commercial for some reason, right? And it's like cool.
Awesome game.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care. I'll stand on that island by myself.
It was all right. It was fun. I had fun with it.
No, it's good. It's a good ass game. Visceral, man.
There was a certain level with a certain tower that I could have done without, but other than that,
yeah, I know.
We were doing all right.
Yeah.
But no, it's this sort of thing, and I know if I could just go off for a minute, I know it's what everyone's going to be saying about why they should have been there. It's going to be, oh well, the Super Bowl's got millions and millions of people who are watching it. It's like, yeah, that's true, but the Super Bowl is just this. It's this antiquated idea of marketing. It's this, like, I understand back in some people's days when the moon was cold, when the moon was hot and the sun was cold, and you had to ride your Stegosaurus uphill both ways to get to school every day. Back then, the Super Bowl was the only place you could advertise, right? It was the biggest name, in advertisement, right? And that's still true. Like, it's still a big name. But the problem is that it's completely untargeted, right? You're spending $7 to $10 million to advertise to just all kinds of people. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of people who play video games, but you're also going to get my mom, my dad, both of my sisters. Yeah. Like, you're going to get a ton of people who they're going to see the 30-second commercial, maybe if you're lucky, and they're not up getting pizza or taking a pee at the time. And they're going to be like, oh, what was that? With the sure, okay, cool. I'm sure Daniel will play that maybe. Right. And like, that'll be the extent of their entertainment. I mean, it's that sort of thing where even Disney doesn't do the full price anymore. They're taking, 30-second ads and saying, hey, there's a trailer up on YouTube now. Right.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
It's the sort of situation where, like, you can take that money and you can apply it to other places. Like Like, I mean, I know Retri was saying in the green room that I was gesturing the wrong direction. He's over here. He was saying in the green room that he's not seeing any targeted ads for Xbox stuff on any of his social media. I can't see anything else. I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing like hair pills, which I'm not sure how the algorithm thinks I need those. But
I should be getting those.
Daniel has a nice mane, like the line behind them. So yeah, I don't know why you're getting hair pills.
Screwed up. Look at it, looks like Jesus Christ over here. He's got beautiful hair. I'm bald as mother. I should be getting those ads. Why am I'm the Game Pass guy. Why am I not seeing Xbox stuff? I see PlayStation ads.
That's the thing, right? It's for like $7-10 million. You can have this ad on the Super Bowl that people are going to see once if they care. And then, but for that same price, you can own YouTube or TikTok or Twitter or whatever for like 2-3 days, and you can have it specifically targeted to be in front of like gaming videos or targeted to people who are like in the Xbox algorithm or whatever. And I guess they missed Retri. I don't know what's going on over there. Maybe he's watching too many like home improvement channels or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But hey, we all got our vices on YouTube. I watch one about snakes. It's we all got our thing. Yep. It's but it's just this situation where like, yeah, it would have been cool to see it there, but specifically with Starfield, especially, like there was no way it was going to be there because we didn't have a release date already. Like I was expecting them to just like tweet out the release date or have the release date at the developer direct earlier so that they could start getting pre-orders going, and then we would have the Starfield thing that was just a deep dive into what the game is. And if that had happened, then maybe we could have had something at the Super Bowl that was like, here's Game Pass. It's going to, it's got Hi-Fi Rush. It's got this, it's got that. And also here's Starfield at the end, right? And something like that. But, even that was probably a stretch. So no, I wasn't surprised at all not to see it there.
I mean, listen, I think more so I was hoping that we would see Microsoft do something unexpected, right? Something out of the box. It didn't happen. I'm disappointed. But Daniel, you make great points. The kind of money that is expected to be spent, listen, I only have like 22 million in the bank, so I can understand you don't want to get rid of 7. I get it, but actually that's not true. But it's Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? Like that is what kind of bothers me a bit. Joe, I want to get to you, brother. Listen, first of all, you represent PlayStation. I say this all the time, and I have to reiterate it. You represent the brand in a proper manner. You call them to the carpet when they need to, and you that's your brand. Same way I'm a Xbox guy, right? And same way I will call Xbox to the carpet. That's why we love having you a part of the show, and we love what you do with Kyle on the trophy room. You have seen from the PlayStation side money well spent when it comes to marketing. If there's anything that Xbox should strive to be, is not try to be PlayStation, but pull a few pages out of their book in regards to marketing. Because, I think 2 weeks ago, you were talking about it on Twitter. We saw a Spider-Man 2 ad where it was pretty dope, folks. I mean, say what you want about it. Yeah, it was just Spider-Man dropping down and swinging through, but the game isn't coming out for another 10 months.
Yeah.
That's marketing 101, and it's getting people excited. And listen, we've seen it in the PlayStation 4 days. Someone, a normie, who's a fan of the MCU, who goes to the movies to see these films, who loves Spider-Man No Way Home, is like, what? PlayStation? I got to get a PS5.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Spider-Man 2018, folks. Mm-hmm. They showed that game years before, and people were like, holy shit, I have to get a PlayStation. Thing.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Joe. I mean, they didn't show up at the Super Bowl. Are you surprised?
Boom lagged out. Don't worry, I got you, Boom. I ain't surprised in the gosh dang slightest. There you go. I ain't surprised in the gosh dang slightest. First, we saw neither of them there. They don't have to be there. To go back to what like Daniel said, for the amount of money that PlayStation did to do the live from PlayStation is probably a fraction of just getting onto the Super Bowl. We know, as it's reported, that Xbox currently has less marketing than it did last year to promote its games. So why spend it on a one and done for the most part? You have Starfield, you have what I believe is one of the best social media marketing teams, if not the best online right now. So just throw it all behind them. You could do way more with less than doing it at the Super Bowl. So now I saw some like outrage, and I'm like, everybody relax, it's gonna be fine. The too long didn't read part of it is like, I saw one comment of like, oh, I'm sick of Xbox not talking to us in 2023, and I was like, it's been 8 days. It's been 8 days.
I remember that. I saw that tweet. Yeah.
It's been 8.
I saw that tweet, Joe. That was a good one.
Days.
Yeah.
We're angry at them until they show us stuff, and then the verdict's out on what they show us. Right? We forget everything once the thing is announced. Then we get excited again. PlayStation hasn't talked to us in what seems like 18 years, but it's been like a year and a half since we've seen a proper showcase because I don't know what's going on. So just be happy that Xbox is talking to you, because sometimes it feels like we're getting talked to by a brick wall. So to me, this doesn't matter in the slightest. Put that towards.
You know what?
Starfield
Please
stuff.
let people know, Joe, that you studied marketing. You have a degree in marketing. So this is not only
right over there.
Yeah, but this is
you can't see it. Can't see it. Doesn't exist.
Yeah,
honestly, it might as well not.
Poor Joe.
My degree's at my mom's house, so
but Joe, I appreciate the honesty, Joe.
Yeah.
Funny.
Again, everybody's upset until they're not, and then verdict will decide, right? Like everybody is apparently upset at this lack of Super Bowl thing, but where were you guys 2 weeks ago? You guys were ecstatic. You guys had this awesome direct. You got High Five Rush, that is already a Game of the Year contender. So it's like y'all are in a good place. Not every week does there need to be the biggest news that blows the roof off of video games, or it needs to be the biggest PR beat in video games. Most of the time they talk to you and have a real conversation with you once every quarter, and that's what ends up really happening at the grand scheme. So to me, it's not a problem at all. The Super Bowl's dying anyway. It's the sports relevance wanes. I'm not even kidding. It wanes.
No, I don't disagree. I'm coming from Texas. This is football central, right? Like most other sports are not recognized within the boundaries of this fine state of mind. But I don't disagree. I mean, maybe it would have been something different if we didn't have a D-string team like the Eagles in there. But it is what it is.
Shots fired.
I just want to point out to you all, I haven't watched football in years, but it was the third most watched Super Bowl of all time.
That was
two good teams, two great young quarterbacks that are going to have an amazing career.
It was actually really good.
I think there's a significant amount
of
your
mouth, Daniel.
Well, I mean, he's a Cowboys fan, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
I'm not a Cowboys fan, although I would have been really happy if they were there, because that would have been probably my business would have been shut down that day, and I wouldn't have had to go to work.
That's good stuff. I love it.
But no,
listen,
hey, Joe, actually, can I ask you a question? So
sure.
you brought up the PlayStation Showcase situation, and it's been a minute. I think I was talking to Retri about it maybe, and we were talking about how it was like September that we got the last State of Play, and it was the September before that we got a showcase. But that sucks because it's been so long since we've heard from them. But there's all these rumors that we're going to get a PlayStation Showcase coming up pretty soon, or a State of Play at least.
Sure, State of Play.
What are you expecting big things from that? Because I am. I think the next showcase we get, not State of Play, but like the next time we got a proper showcase.
I think it's going to be the Year of Dreams.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Massive.
Yeah. No, the next showcase. We got Bloodborne 2. Right, we got.
It's a done deal. It's in the
done deal.
Yeah.
No, I'm expecting big things. It's been a year plus, but I'm also of the mind of I kind of like what Naughty Dog said a few months back, which was or maybe no, a few weeks ago, where they're just like, hey man, we want to show our games closer to when they're actually out. So if this means I get to see less, oh my god, but those games are coming out in an actual year or two rather than 3 or 4, then I can do with I don't know, the Jedi Knights type of game. So to me, I'm expecting something big, because you've made us wait for a while just because you're trying to get one over on the good old Microsoft. But to me, I'm expecting a State of Play to be okay. Here's the JRPGs that we got, this year and Stellar Blade and stuff in the next state of play, but when it comes to showcase, I am expecting stuff, and I really hope they start talking to us more. Their social media team's starting to learn more and more. I just like them to wake up a little bit more, because Xbox's social media team is phenomenal, and at the same exact time, yeah, I mean, PlayStation's marketing, I think what Xbox fans want at the end of the day is marketing that mirrors that of, like, we would love to see a monolith outside our house of an Xbox series, right? Like, we want them to pull out the stops that PlayStation does, but we also have to realize that they do have less marketing this time around, so they can't just go, I want to make a Xbox Series fridge. Like, they really need to save those announcements for things that are going to really push games like Starfield over the edge more than anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes perfect sense. Retri, I want to go to you next, brother, but I want to answer KT the Goat. Welcome to the show, brother. Thanks so much for the comment. He says no other console, nobody console wise did anything for the Super Bowl. How is Xbox marketing bad for not being there? So my simple answer to that, and obviously I super appreciate the question, and you're right to ask it, is because Xbox is in third. And if there was a number after third because there was someone else there, they would be fourth. So when you're fourth or fifth or not hitting like you should, because quite frankly, it's Xbox has a lot of stuff going on that's great besides Xbox Game Pass. Yes, I know that we've seen some delays and we're all disappointed, but we're not going to be soon. We're going to start seeing the games hit. They had, in my opinion, the answer to that question is because they are in last place. They needed to do something out of the ordinary, unexpected, and they didn't. And that's fine. I don't hate the brand for it. I don't hate marketing for it. I just wish they would have done something that was unusual to their normal behavior. But with that said, Retri, let's get your opinion on this. Then after Super Bowl, I mean, again, Joe and Daniel have made amazing points. What's yours?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would have liked them to be there, but I didn't expect them to be there. As I said on one of your other podcasts, I definitely did not expect Microsoft to be there. It wouldn't make sense, kind of. The only thing that would have made sense, like we were talking in the green room, would have been a Game Pass ad. They weren't going to show us Starfield. They weren't going to give us the date, because it's kind of catch-22. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you showed Starfield there, you weren't going to show a date because you were going to probably show the date at the direct, and then people would have been, complaining about that. So you can't win if you're Microsoft, unfortunately. And I do agree with Daniel, like that $7 million can be spent in a bunch of different areas for marketing that are probably more direct to the consumer. And like, these ads, is so many during the Super Bowl. Like you were saying, you could easily just get up for 30 seconds, and then you miss that $7 million of advertising, where the direct advertising is much harder to miss because you can target, you can use algorithms to do that. And the algorithm ain't working on me, but it's working on Daniel, and it's working on other people. I've talked to other people and they are seeing a ton of ads. I'm just not. So, but again, guys, that's not Microsoft. That is an algorithm doing the work for Microsoft. That is targeted ads from a computer AI that is telling you what you should be seeing. That's not the same thing. That's not the spectacle that we see like Sony does when they put statues in countries and stuff like that. I do want to see more stuff in bigger cities like New York and just spectacle stuff, kind of like stuff that Boom's talking about. I would like some surprises coming out of Microsoft, the marketing team, but I don't know what their budget is either. They could have a really crappy budget, right? So, and if that's the case, then I'm sure they're just trying to do as much as they can with what they have and the constraints that they have to work within. But I definitely didn't expect it to be at the Super Bowl. And like Joe was saying, it's been 8 days.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, it's true.
Everyone's got to calm down a little bit. Like it is kind of, people on the internet being a little ridiculous. I didn't see that too much of it. Maybe I'm following the right people. I don't know. But it is what it is. There are some Xbox guys that were absolutely saying that this was coming. There was a definite thing. That the big game tweet was actually them saying that we're going to be there. I was like, no, dude, it's telling you the exact opposite, that they're not going to be there.
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about?
What I got from it. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess, two people can look at the same thing and have completely two different outcomes. So I'm just excited that today we're talking about Hogwarts. The new eldenring,
and we are going to get to that.
So.
We're gonna, because I got to tell you folks, I wrote my today's show very late last night. I wrote two shows. The first one was awful. I hated it. I hated myself for writing it. I hated myself for sending it to the guys. And I looked at it, and poor Daniel was like, I don't even know what that game you're talking about. So can we talk about something else? And I was like, you know what?
I'm so glad you pivoted on that one as well.
Let me rewrite this. But I'm going to be honest with you. Yesterday was a heavy day for a lot of reasons, which I don't want to get into. But the other half of that, and I got to be honest with you folks, I played Hogwarts for 6 hours yesterday.
Yeah. Me too, Boom.
I felt like I haven't done that in a long time. I don't have the time to do that. Mrs. Boom was talking with her sister. She was on the computer doing some things. So while she was doing some other stuff, I was like, okay, I'm going to sneak away from the job that is known as the Xbox Factor podcast, and I'm going to go play some Hogwarts.
Boom.
And I did.
All right.
So
just to jump on that, this weekend, like I usually game with the community on Friday and Saturday nights, and I was like, hey guys, I'm not playing with y'all this weekend. I'm gonna be playing Hogwarts. I'm sorry. I had to apologize because I was supposed to play some games with some people, and I'm like, I can't stop playing it. I'm up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I'm so tired right now. I'm still tired. Like I can't. I got over a day of playing that game, and I'm nowhere near the level I should be. But it's too dang good. So good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Umbra, we're going to get to you on the no showing up for the Super Bowl, but then, of course, we're going to back end it with what you wanted. You wanted to lead this topic, and I'd like you to do that regarding Hogwarts and the time that you're having with it. Again, are you surprised that they didn't show up at the Super Bowl? Because again, everyone has made some really, really good financial marketing opinions on why you wouldn't spend $7 million for a 30-second spot. But again, it is Microsoft. They do have money. I'm not saying money to burn. $7 million is nothing to sneeze at. But when you're in third place, sometimes you got to do things that are not expected. What are your thoughts on, bro?
No, I agree with you there. But the thing is like, it's not much for them. 7 million obviously is insane for 30 seconds. And I think they would need more than that for an actual ad. I mean, obviously they can do that if they just want to announce the launch date, right? But one, I didn't believe it was launching in March or anytime soon, so that wouldn't be needed. Two, yes, nothing for them to pay for and do, but they already have a direct they announced. So because they announced the direct, to me, it made less sense to believe that it was actually going to be an ad for the Super Bowl. And I think so many people got caught up in the whole excitement of the Super Bowl and, and possibilities of that because of podcasts, like ourselves, where, we talk to those things and people in the chat were like, oh yeah, well, marchers and such. It's the marchers. I blame the marchers.
Yeah.
If this wasn't clear enough. Abdel,
sorry to you, Mav. I don't know if you're listening, Mav.
Mav
even made an icon for Twitter, which was dope. It says marchers. Yeah. It's so cool.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Oh, I gotta send it to you. It's hilarious. It's like it's got like a little astronaut in the corner, and right in the middle it says marchers. It's awesome. It's awesome. I love it.
I was on their one of their videos yesterday, the podcast, and I was in there. I was like, they were like, oh. We're marchers, blah blah blah. But what about those? What do we call them? Juners? I'm like, I'm a proud Juner. I jumped in
right here.
Juner. I'm like, shame to you, marchers. But I think it's what it is. It's just kind of like the speculation. In Mav's case, the fun speculation, if you will. So I'm sorry, don't throw a tomato at me. That led a lot of this belief that it would be, some type of ad for it. I get it. It definitely, if it was, like I said, if it was actually releasing in March, it would make sense for them to have been there. But I just didn't believe it was releasing in March, so I didn't see the need for them to do it. I don't know. I don't think it's Xbox's. I don't think it's really their thing. Although I will say and argue it probably needs to be their thing. As far as how it becomes with marketing and things like that. And one of the things we've always, often complained about is Microsoft's lackadaisical kind of approach to marketing. I think it kind of rely on word of mouth and the fact that, it's on Game Pass, so that'll market it itself. I think they've relied on that far too often, unfortunately. And when you contrast that with PlayStation, it's like night and day. You see PlayStation ads all the time. I know somebody was saying, what's the algorithm? Nah, I don't really search for Sony. You know what I mean? And I don't mean it in a salty or shady way. I just don't search for Sony.
I don't either.
But
exactly. You see, and it still pops up. So, yeah, and it's no shade to Sony. Like the most things I would ever search for them would be the games that I would actually get first party from them at that time. Other than that, I don't really search for them. I have no need to, and that's no shade. Again, it's just not my preferred platform. But I'm searching Xbox all the time, every day, anything that's related to Xbox game wise, because 9 times out of 10, I am going to play that on Xbox. But yet, and still, you will see dedicated commercials and ads for Sony related things, even as far as obviously the HBO show with the Last of Us, you'll just see Sony is all over the place. So you got to give them their credit when it comes to that. And I do want, and I think that's what it comes down to. A lot of Xbox guys know that there's a lack when it comes to that advertisement wise for us on this side of things. So we look to Sony's side of things and say, why isn't Microsoft doing that? And I think because of that, we're like, well, surely they'll be at the Super Bowl. That's something, though, that Sony would probably do if we're being honest with each other. You know what I mean? But I think couple that with the fact that there is a possibility, even outside of the June situation, that the game could be delayed into September or beyond, as people have speculated. I still think it'll be late June. But I have the caveat, if you will, throw the tomatoes up in the chat. The caveat being that it could possibly come out in the fall. And I wouldn't
weak
be surprised.
sauce.
Yep.
Stick with your.
I'm still with June. I'm still with June.
Or maybe September, October, November, December.
Right. I'm a June or September. Yeah, but no, seriously, I think it's just the fact that they don't have a solid date nailed down either. So I feel like they don't want to go out there and put out any. If they would have had a solid date, I think they would have actually done it. I just think that the fact that they don't is too weary to go out there and put that much money towards something that they can't say with a solid yes, this is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on it.
Listen, Umbro, before we come back to you and we start talking about Hogwarts, because it's a hot button topic, and we're talking the game only, folks. We're here to talk about our experience with the game. I don't care about anything else. It's the game show. We're playing a game that everyone seems to really love. Some people don't, and that's fine. If it's not your bag, I'm not going to hate on you. It is my favorite game of the year. Obviously that was Hi-Fi Rush, which I'm about the last boss right now. Dead Space is another one, which is just, oh my God, so freaking good. But listen, real quick, Jesse DeBarrios has become a channel member. Thanks so much for that. And the Eternal Shaddai, thank you so much for becoming channel members. Again, I definitely super appreciate that. Let me get to the private chat. First super chat of the day comes away of Drawn TJ. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "What's up, guys? What's going on, TJ?" Sith Lord, good friend of the program, drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Hi everyone, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. BoomStick. We love you all, and thank you so much for that. It's very kind of you." Hargeet Chani, Hargeet, what's up, brother? He drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says this: January for Game Pass brought us Persona 3 and 4, Monster Hunter Rise, Hi-Fi Rush, Age of Empires 2 on console, and GoldenEye. Great start to the year with the 4 Japanese games. Absolutely. Gamer by Choice drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I think Xbox realized that marketing is not moving mass people to their ecosystem. They need to change the mindset and not sure how they do that. Yeah, I tell you how they do that. They could release first-party games that grab people's attention. And
I think Decado said they were using it for lawyer fees.
I mean, well,
There
it's
you go.
possible. It's definitely possible. And Sir X-Man, just a very generous $2 super chat, and says Xbox gets momentum, then they stop. Still love the Xbox though. And yeah, I mean, listen, again, it's early. It's early, but I think it's gonna be a special year for Xbox. A lot of good games. Umbra, let's get to you in Hogwarts. You wanted to lead the conversation on this. You have put in over 12 hours, according to your last tweet from yesterday. I don't know how much more time you've put into it. Me, I'm closing in on 25 hours. I just hit level 25. I just got the lock picking level 1, so now I'm breaking into everything. And I'll say
not
this,
very Hufflepuffish of you.
Well, I mean, listen, I am trying.
Sounds like Slytherin to me.
It
Yeah.
does sound like Slytherin, but you know something? I have this black coat that I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't think I'm the only one that has seen this, and it has black skulls that move.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have not seen that one.
Dope. I got to send you a
tell me where
picture
you
of
got
it.
that.
It is as you're walking around, the skulls are floating around the item, the clothing, and it's
the
obviously
deluxe
meant for
edition
Slytherin
thing.
for sure. But I wear it to scare people away. It's dope.
No.
It's
Yeah.
so
That's why.
good. Oh my
I've seen
god.
it. Yeah, that's more of a Slytherin
So
code if I've ever seen it.
let's talk about Umbra. Let's talk about Hogwarts. This is a game that by all rights should not be this good. Avalanche is a great studio. The IP is phenomenal. But this game had a lot to live up to. Somehow or another, they have delivered at every turn in this game. There has not been anything that I have come across to do that I felt cumbersome or a chore or I didn't enjoy doing. Even like the classroom settings, like when you go, it's like a little bit of a mini thing, right? You go into the class, screen turns black, and then they show the people doing things in that class, and then the class ends, and the people, the other students, they leave. You're left there, and you speak to the teacher, and you do your thing. I think it's done really well. What jumps off the page for this game? With this game for you?
There's so many things, Boom, and it's actually pretty like crazy when you really look at this game. And now I think I'm at least at 20 something hours right now, right? And a lot of that has just been wandering around. And for me, a good sign of a game that to be great is you being like drawn into that world. I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I do enjoy it. I became a fan as I took my sister to see all of them back in the day, right? And
Nice.
I say back in the day, I know it wasn't like 30 years ago, but still. But I took my sister to see them, and I was like, okay, this little magical thing, it's all right, And the more I watched it, obviously, the more I got ingratiated into that world. But like when you jump into this, I think they have this thing they do where, at least I've noticed, is where you hit one thing after another of quality, be it missions or learning something or seeing the world, seeing Hogwarts. All these things kind of hit you one after the other from what I've noticed. And it just really, I don't know, I think it kind of hits that mind center of your mind. It kind of pleases you. And aesthetically, it is just freaking gorgeous, man. And I've said it before. I've said it again. I know a few people in the chat know I've said this. We had discussions about Fable and the engine that they used, and them using obviously the beautiful Forza Tech engine. I still hold true that Unreal Engine 5 would have been the smarter choice. On the Unreal Engine 4 at the time, obviously, that they could have transitioned to Unreal Engine 5. This game, for me, solidifies that. Now, this is Unreal Engine 4, I believe they're using here. And it is still ridiculously
stunning,
good looking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the vibes I got from this was, funny enough, I got Fable vibes.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is it's not exactly on the attacks that you do, but see, AJH he knows. But the traveling, like the world, how you move around, even I guess the course, the accents and such didn't hurt it either, because Fable, they spoke in that way in some ways. But man, the world is just so, I don't know how else to best put it. but it's just you feel like you're really it's really well thought out and really full fledged. And the only other games that I can think of that really gave me that feeling would be The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2. And Red Dead Redemption, I don't think any game is going to touch Red Dead Redemption 2 in that regard for a long time. But this is a fairly close one as far as detail of the world. People actually having conversations around you, moving and doing their own thing, be it students walking around with their books, carrying on with their schedules. You go into these other hamlets and towns around the area and people are doing their own thing, stores and all these places you can go into. And it gives you that feeling of a real lived world. This game, it really exemplifies that, honestly, to me. And I said it was kind of early because at that point it was 12 hours in. To me, it feels like it might be a masterpiece. That's where I'm going at with this so far. And so far, 20 plus hours in or whatever I'm at now, that hasn't changed. I'm still leaning toward masterpiece. And at the very least, game of the year contender. You know what I mean? And I think also this just fully realized on how you can actually, because I started riding a broom the other day. I felt, I'm like, all right.
Completely changes the game, by the way.
Yep.
Spectacular.
Absolutely.
It's spectacular. I took an image of it while I was, floating around, racing around and such. And I was just like, come on. This game is impossibly great looking. And it's like so much it's one of those things where it is so well done. It's hard to find an issue. You know what I mean? And that's always a great sign for me. And I'm trying to find issues with it. I'm like, what could be something that I don't like? Change a little setting here is even better.
So I got a few.
Oh, you got a few? All right. Well, I'm going to say, before you get to that and before you tear down my joy, Avada Kedavra. No, I'm joking. It won't be any complaints from you. No, but seriously, the game is just so well done. I'll even go as far as to speak on the character creation, where they did a smart thing of where your created character looks very much so like the game characters in the world. So you don't look out of place.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they did a really solid job there. I'm like, wow, that was smart. Now, it does have a bit of the samesies of the faces because of that. But
some of the characters you meet, you can tell that they're reused. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But due to that, though, you give them credit because you really feel a part of that. And I've character creation in other games has been a big thing of mine. I'm always, when I get into that, I really get into that because I'm an artist by nature. But so I get into actually designing, because even when I got into my room of requirement, I started decorating that up. And I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And all of a sudden, 15, 20 minutes later, I'm still in there decorating. I'm like, why am I in here? So it's just, like I said, there's so many things in this game to do, by the way. I started to fly around and search the land. And I'm like, wow, this is a gigantic game.
Yeah. It's
like
big.
Even once you do the main campaign and do that, I hear it's about 40 hours. You have at least, I would say, another 40 just tackling the world, honestly. Probably more. If you're going to really do everything, I'm pretty sure there's many more secrets that we don't know about. It'll be discovered and things of that nature. I just feel like they did such a great job. And I wanted to point out one last thing before I move on and let somebody else talk. You look at this and you say, okay, you get certain teams that have a pedigree. You expect them to make something this great. But then you look at who made this and you're like, how did they get to this quality?
Yeah.
The team that made this, and a lot of people get it mistaken, is Avalanche, I believe, Studios, right?
Yes.
So, but the other team you think of is Avalanche, software, or this is Avalanche software.
I think
Avalanche Studios.
Right.
So Avalanche Studios made Mad Max, which is beloved to me, by the way. I love
fantastic game, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't get the love it deserves. It was underrated, in my opinion. If you all have not played it, give it a chance. Anyway, so that, and yet, of course, the Just Cause series. So you know them from that. And that's one of the teams I would want Microsoft to acquire, by the way, with a WB. Anyway, so going back, you have Avalanche Software here. And their last games were like Disney Infinity or something like that. Stuff like that. It's like, what? If you go back and look at the games they made before this is an insane leap of quality and just, I don't know how else to put it, just genre, I guess. It's a crazy leap. It's like you look at something like Guerrilla Games and how they went from what they went to Horizon, or you look at
big jump.
Even better, if you go to Sucker Punch and you go from what they went from with Sly Cooper and such to Ghost of Tsushima, which was spectacular.
Yeah,
that right there is the only way I can kind of describe that jump of quality. It's like, how did you make that your team and now you jump to this? So I'm stunned in all different directions when it comes to this game. I can go on and on, honestly, but I don't want to overcrowd the speaking here. But I'll just say I'm impressed in all facets. Voice acting is solid. Visuals are spectacular. The controls make perfect sense and fit within that world. The magic spells you learn are numerous and detailed and deep, and you got so many ways you can mix and match them. It is ridiculous when you really, really learn what you're doing as far as combat. And of course, you learn these hidden arts. So I'm definitely going to do that. Of course, that's my next step. Slytherin gang, by the way. Everybody in the chat, throw up your snakes and make the little noises. We hear.
And the colors are green and black. Just saying, right. Xbox.
Green with envy. Anybody that's not with us.
Well, let me tell you something, because I've been playing the game for a bit.
Yeah, Joe. Let's go to you next, Joe.
Hey, I just got moderator powers. I can boot you right out of here, Joe. But go ahead, speak a piece.
All right, so
what house?
Real talk, y'all.
What house?
Oh, I'm Ravenclaw.
Oh yeah, bite them.
That's right.
That's why.
That's Talons. Everybody in the chat, go. All right. I feel like it doesn't have the staying power. No. So before I go here, first off, I have an interview. So everybody, wish me luck. Everybody in the chat.
Yes, good luck, brother. Good luck with that. Yes,
I'm gonna crush it. No, I'm not a Harry Potter fan at all. This is my first Harry Potter thing, y'all, that I've taken seriously. I've tried watching the movies a few times, and I've fallen asleep. I've always described Harry Potter as the West Wing of fantasy, where I feel like it's just a bunch of kids walking in a hallway, talking about their class, and about this fishman chasing them.
I've never heard it described like that before.
Yeah, man.
I like the description. I don't agree with it, but
I mean,
respect.
It's better acting in West Wing, sure. But so for me, I've never been a huge fan. Though the game has gotten my attention, and just the world that they seemingly crafted, and the combat had me in the door. And also my co-host didn't want to review it, so I had to. So as someone who's completely new to the series, has no idea what I'm stepping into, and no idea if I'm meeting anyone of like consequence. Like, I don't understand any Easter egg at all. That's how fresh I'm going into this. Like, I'm afraid to say a character's name, because it might be someone's great Aunt Susie and I just don't know. So for me, as someone who is completely divorced to the Potterdom, I would say that they've done a fantastic job paying what I would imagine is respect to the source material, to the world building that was laid previous to them, and giving respect to the books and films, because it's exactly what you would have envisioned the movies to look. Right, even stepping into like Hogsmeade, right? You're walking around that town, it looks like the Universal Studios like area, their Potterdom that they have over there. Like, everything feels authentic, and even as someone that doesn't know what that authenticity is, I have the sense of it. So, it seems like they've crafted something really special here in terms of the world building, because there's just so much to do. I saw some people go, it's kind of like Breath of the Wild in terms of there's so many puzzles you do. I don't know if that's the case, but it's a different open world than what we've previously seen. There's always something to do, and there's always something to sidestep you that's interesting, and that's not going to take 40 minutes to discover. And the combat, like the spells that you're able to mix and match, they do a really good job of setting a combo system that feels so engaging, because when someone, I think one of the developers is like, yeah, we made a combo system that's similar to that what you would find in like a fighting game. I'm like, that is okay.
That's exactly what it feels like to me.
And so like for
Extremely
me, it's just
fluid.
like, yeah, it is that they've struck a great balance of how good range combat would feel in that From Software / modern Assassin's Creed targeting system that we have nowadays. They've done a really great job of saying, hey, this is how range combat could work with this fixed pointed system. The only thing that I'm not a fan of, because I think the game's beautiful, and I think I only have really two main complaints, is no photo mode. Come on, y'all.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I
100% agree with that one.
The game is beautiful. I want to take pictures of this thing nonstop. So hopefully, they find a way to make it work in engine. Because I just want to nonstop just take pictures, zoom in, put filters on it, like while I'm casting a spell type stuff. I desperately need that because it's beautiful. But at the same exact time, too, I think it looks better in motion. So like when you're in those fights, seeing the particle effects and everything, like not a lot of games look great when it's standing still, but this game looks brilliant when it's in motion. And then my other and my only main complaint of the game is the story is it's not terrible. But it's uninspired. We've seen this story beat by beat before, in other like pop culture, and none of the characters, outside of a select few, like one or two, are really special enough to care for. None of the students, all the students are awful.
Careful, Joe. Just pretend I am Sony and you are IGN. Continue.
All right, they're terrible. They're not great.
You talking about my girl Natty?
That's right. Oh wait, no, Natty can stay. I love Natty. Natty's great. I think she's the only one that I truly vibe with. Everyone else, I'm like, get out of here. Natty's great. I love the backstory that she tells, but there's like one kid's like, I was pulling pranks. I can't come on about it.
I'm talking about that little girl you had to find those things from, right? The
I hide things that smell like crab. Wizardy dizardy. It's like, all right, relax. It's funny. Like they all feel kind of like tropey, and like the story itself, it's just like, yeah, like I've seen, again, I can't even name pop culture references because it would just spoil it. But like, yeah, I'm just like, I find myself tuning out of the story and just going, okay, so when can I unlock like locks so I can start stealing people's stuff, right? Like when can I go back to using this wand because I really like using it, and this old man keeps talking to me and hanging out with me like we're friends. It's just like,
is it getting weird for you?
Yeah, but I would say to great success, this has made me more, it's made me want to check out the IP in a very long time. One of my friends, they walked in on me playing it, and they're just like, really, Joe? You gosh dang hypocrite. And I'm like, oh, here we go with the JK nonsense again. And they just go, how many years have you just made fun of me for liking Harry Potter? And here we are, you're playing a Harry Potter game. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a unique turn and a new reason why someone would be upset at me about this thing. Great, it's actually welcomed. So honestly, to me, I can't sing this game's praises enough. Is it my game of the year? No. Will it be on a game of the year conversation? I mean, it's been like 5 weeks, so I don't know. I mean, like, we got games like Starfield, Redfall. That's the real one you should be excited for. You got Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, like Diablo. Oh, God, that game's gonna be great. So there's gonna be so many stellar games. I think the underlying thing here is this is the first stellar game we've seen in a year that is going to be every month you're going to have something huge. Like next month, you got Wulong for Game Pass folks out there. You got Resident Evil. Next month after that, you got Jedi Survivor. Next month after that, you have Legend of Zelda. Next month after that is probably Starfield. Oh, in April also Redfall. So like July, you got like Final Fantasy. So like there's just so much. It seems
Crazy
like
good year.
month after month, there's gonna be a stellar game.
Don't
I'm just
forget
happy.
Hi-Fi Rush, by the way, for stellar games.
Exactly. So like, I'm just happy that we are that Harry Potter fans have gotten a game worth celebrating, because there's something here, and they do a great job as well trying to divorce themselves from the author in really, I feel like, meaningful and tangible ways, which I also dig because they're trying to make this thing their own. So to me, I dig it. I like it a lot. If you like it, that's great. If you don't, that's great. If you're boycotting it, God bless you.
Yeah.
And if you're not, God bless you too. You know, everybody's winning. There's so many games to play. I don't know why everybody's yelling. You know?
Yeah, no, it makes.
I still gotta get the High-Five Rush.
Yeah, dude, you
Please
gotta play that. That is
I have it downloaded.
Stellar game.
Love
Joe,
it.
listen, I know you got to get out of here for your interview, brother.
That's
Listen,
right.
thank you for being
Good
here.
luck, Joe.
Please sell your brand. Tell everyone about the trophy room.
Oh, this week's gonna be spoiler nuts. Probably the biggest episode that we've done since our Game of the Year show.
Nice.
And it is, well, yes, we could talk about it. We're gonna be talking about PSVR 2.
Okay. Good.
You know, can't say the whole thing, just gonna be talking about it. You'll find out more when we ask questions tomorrow.
I like that laugh you did. That laugh you did was very Slytherin like.
It's I don't want to get the person in trouble, you know. But we're gonna be talking about PSVR 2s. If you want, like, you know, things to know about it, follow us at PS Trophy Room. If you have questions about it, we can answer it for you on this week's show, as well as an interview with Jane Perry. She is the voice actress of Returnal. Look at how we've lined this up alongside the Returnal PC release. She talks about her time in the role of Celine and the role of Rogue and the role of Diana Burnwood. And she says some really cool, interesting things that I think you may see on other places when that episode goes live. And then so much more. I know people want me to talk about probably the Game Pass thing, which is just like, I don't care that much. It's not my money. So yeah, you know, all that and so much more over at the Trophy Room, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and the greatest in all things PlayStation. And the great thing about that podcast is that there are so many people here in this chat that listen to it. There's so many people that are Xbox fans that get something out of it, even Nintendo fans, sorry, they get so much out of it. It's really a game, you know, a podcast centered around PlayStation, but we try our best to, you know, navigate it in a way that no matter what platform you're enjoying, there's a good show for you to enjoy there.
Nice.
So this
Good
week,
stuff.
again, huge, the Trophy Room show on YouTube, but really our bread and butter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast services of choice, you can find the Trophy Room there. And yeah, wish me luck on my interview. And if I don't get it, you only have yourselves to blame if you didn't wish
Yes,
me good luck.
of course. We didn't wish hard enough or use our Hufflepuff magic to get it.
That's
for
right.
You. Hufflepuff in the house. Throw those. There you go.
Team Ravenclaw.
All right.
That was a drop of mic moment. He's just like,
absolutely.
That's right.
Well, listen,
That's right.
Retro, let's continue to you. How much have you been sucked in by the wizarding world for this game? It does. I mean, listen, again, not every game is going to be for every gamer. We say that should be a t-shirt. But this game does a lot right. And again, depending on the level of your interest in the story, I actually think the story is quite interesting. I see that.
Don't listen to Joe. You know what?
I see the way that it's going. I see that there was, again, no spoilers here, folks. Just gameplay talk. Retro, talk about it, brother. Why has this grabbed you where you have now wanted to just box yourself into the house and play, and that's what you want to do?
Yeah, I'm having a tough time playing literally anything else. Like, I play a lot of multiplayer games and I can't touch anything else. I don't want to. It is absolutely Elden Ring did this to me. it sucked me in because Hogwarts Legacy's the art direction is so good. It is so dang good. It reminds me of Elden Ring in that way. Hi-Fi Rush was my game of the year, and it's already got bumped out by this game. I can't help it. Hogwarts to me is just it's a much bigger scope of a game. I'm super impressed with what Avalanche has done based on like what Umbra was saying, like their pedigree. Like this blows me. I just can't believe how good this damn game is, dude. I knew it always looked good to me, but I always worried about the first thing I always worry about in games is combat. Because if the combat isn't fun, I'm probably personally not going to like the game. That is most important. And the combat in this game is unbelievably good.
Top notch, dude.
It
Top
feels
notch.
like a fighting game. Just like Joe was saying, like it's so fluid to go from one spell to the next. To you're making someone I don't know all, maybe Umbro can tell me the actual names of the things, but when you got someone hovering, you're throwing some electricity at them or you're shoving them off a cliff or something like that. But the combination and how they worked in the control system was really very well implemented. I was very surprised at how good it is to be able to switch quick on the fly and let your brain be able to figure out how to do that. It's really, really simple. But this game, the exploration and where you go, when you go from one place to a next, where you're going from the castle to the Scottish Highlands to the Forbidden Forest or the coastline or where the heck you're going, it doesn't feel like there's filler. Like all the side missions and things that you can do within the game feel like it's just progressing the whole game. Like I don't feel like a lot of times in side missions on games, I feel like it's just there to say the game is this long. I don't feel like that in this game at all. I disagree with Joe. I think the story is actually pretty dang good. I am kind of a Harry Potter fan, so I have been wondering how people who are not fans of the movies and the books would take this on. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. There's plenty of stuff I don't know. My wife was literally sitting over my shoulder telling me what the spells are called and stuff. I'm a nerd. I'm not that much of a nerd, I guess, in this regard. But like building your own wand, you build your own broom, like all these things. The flying mechanics are way better than they should be. I did not expect. I actually thought the flying might be a negative part of this game. It is not. By the way, little tip, if you stay low while you're flying, you can use your boost indefinitely. Little tip. So as soon as you go high and you use your boost, you start to you'll lose your boost and it'll have to reset. If you stay low, you have it forever. Or at least in my broom. Maybe I did something special in my broom. I'm not sure, but that's what's happening anyways. But yeah, so the spells just feel really good. I like all the teachers. I think the characters are written really well.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a lot of substance there. There's a lot of jokes. I get what Joe's saying. There's definitely some tropey stuff like that. As soon as he started doing that voice and that like high pitch annoying voice,
who he's talking about.
I knew exactly who he was talking about. There are some characters, just like in Harry Potter, that are annoying, and they're definitely tropey, and they're taken, they sound like some of the characters straight from the movies, to be honest with you. But I'm very impressed with the castle and how it looks and all the secret passages and all the secret rooms and stuff that you can do. There's a lot of decent amount of puzzles too. I'm not a big puzzle guy, but I don't think they've been too strenuous or too hard for me. But moreover, this game feels like Elden Ring in a way to me, but it feels like it makes me feel good when I play the game. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I played Elden Ring, I loved it, but every time I went into a new area, I was like dreading. I'm like, who's gonna just like take a sword and one shot me and I'm insta dead? I don't kind of feel that way with this game. I feel like exploring. I'm not getting punished by it yet. I'm only about 24, 25 hours into the game. I think I'm right where you are, Boom, because I just unlocked the ability to unlock doors and stuff like that too, which has been great because you get a lot of loot. But the behind the scenes systems too in this game are really good, are really fleshed out. You can, like Umbra was saying, you can decorate your room, add in little tables so you can create your own potions. So because I'm a guy who gets my butt kicked when I'm in combat a lot, so I need a lot of health. So you can just set that station up for yourself, and it'll just keep continuously growing the plants and stuff that you need for your health system. So you got potions and charms. I can't say enough good things about this game. I'm having an issue finding, just like with Hi-Fi Rush, I was trying to look for its weaknesses, and I'm doing the same thing with Hogwarts, and I'm not really finding them. Besides what Joe said, and the fact, there's nothing there except for the fact that it doesn't have a photo mode. That is the biggest mistake this game did, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because they can add that system in there with an update.
Absolutely, and they should, because I am taking a ton of screenshots. I can't wait to share them with people. No one's probably going to give a crap, but I'm recording I'm the Game Pass guy, and I'm recording footage of this game left and right, and I'm going, what the hell am I going to use this for? I'm not even going to be able to use it. But I can't help it. It's that good.
The visuals encourage you to do that, though.
The visual, yeah, and this is like you were saying, Umbra, this is UE. Is this UE4? Are you 100%
I'm
sure?
pretty sure it's
one?
UE4.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's UE4.
I mean,
and it's gorgeous. Imagine UE5.
The art, exactly, dude. Like the art direction matters, man. Like it's that good. And you fly across the map in your broom, and you're going for a very long time. And I can't believe how large this game is. They said it was going to be big, but until you're actually playing it and you're flying around, even when you're using the quick points to get back and forth, the green rooms or whatever, to fast travel, it's massive, dude. I keep finding areas. I'm like, what the hell? This game just keeps going and going and going. So yeah.
The Flu Flames.
The Flu Flames, thank you. Definitely game of the year right now. I know it's February. I know it's early.
Yeah,
I don't care.
But
there's going to be a ton of good games, like Joe said. There's going to be a huge AAA hitter every single month of this year, probably. But right now, this is taking over my life, and yeah, I love it. So nothing but praise
it's good
for
stuff.
this game.
You mentioned systems, and one of the things that what we've seen in the past, games have come out, and either they're too simplistic, they're too complicated, or the systems don't stack correctly, right? There's something to be said about what Avalanche did with this game, where every new piece of magic that you learn works in tandem to perfection.
Yeah.
With everything else. It has, again, there is a lot going on, folks. And real quick, FYI, just to keep, people, if you are someone that maybe finds the game too hard, there are no achievements for difficulty. So if you want to just enjoy the game for what it is, put it on the story mode so you can feel like a badass and enjoy the story and not be punished like, oh man, I should have played on hard.
That's what I told my wife to do. She's like, I don't know if I can handle all this stuff, which is funny because she plays Overwatch, which is one of the hardest games in my opinion to pick up. But I do want to mention something Kay did bring up. I completely forgot about this, and he's absolutely right. He's saying to me, it needs a lot of optimization on both the console and PC. Runs badly, but the game is too good. I know the PC is definitely worse than the console. I have noticed there are some blips and there's some popping in of the game on console, but it's nothing. And I've heard it's a lot worse on the PC side. On the console side, nothing is breaking the game. You know what I mean? Nothing is ruining it. Mm-hmm. There are some quick time events where you'll see like on Fig's like shirt and stuff, and you can see like, judder and popping and stuff, flicker. The flicker stuff it can be a little annoying. It's not everywhere, but it's enough where there's a pattern, and I have noticed it, and I'm sure they'll patch that through. But Kay makes a good point. There's always been issues with optimization with WB games on the PC side anyway. So I'm not.
Yeah, sure. Remember Batman?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that
Batman is a prime example. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so photo mode, and there are some little glitches here and there.
Quidditch, they need to add that in as well.
Yeah, they actually, I believe they said that is coming. I think that's
Yeah, I
come in
feel like that would be a
package.
DLC. Yeah, I feel like that would be a DLC or something
Definitely.
weird. Quidditch definitely. The flying just feels so good. It's
It
so
does.
It
good.
really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the game Chorus. I don't know if you guys played that. But
Yes,
Chorus
that
had
was
some of the
great.
best flying
Yes.
mechanics there was out there,
Mhm.
and I was a little worried about the mechanics in this game, and I think they nailed it personally.
Yeah.
So.
No,
I
listen.
know we got to go to Danny, but I just want to add one thing after him. I'm not going to say it yet, but I'll add it.
Yeah,
after you.
sure. We're going to get into Lies of P because that's a big one. I got the trailer loaded up and ready to go. Danny, let's get your opinion on this, brother. This is a game that everyone has sung its high praise. For me, I got news for you. When I'm done with this show, I'm immediately heading over. It's loaded up, ready to rock and roll. What has been your experience so far with Hogwarts Legacy?
UE4, more like hooey. That's for me. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time.
I love it.
I'm having a good time with this game. It's a lot of fun. It's I agree with Joe on a lot of stuff. I think I don't think it's perfect. And I'm gonna be the only person left on the panel who thinks that flying mechanic is rough as hell. I think I don't like it at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's real bad actually. I think.
What?
I think the idea of having
Is it possible you're just bad at it?
I'm definitely bad at it, but I'm bad at a lot of things I like. So, no. So, like, I don't know, Chad. You don't get flying for a minute. So, but here's the thing. So you're up and down, like your altitude is controlled with one stick, and your left and right is controlled with the other stick. So when you're doing those time trials, it's like you're just like, where am I going, baby? I'm just wiggle wobbling all over the place. I can't. There's this mannequin who's going, and there's these balloons that you're supposed to pop, so you go really fast. And I'm like, I'm hitting most of these, and I'm still not hitting. Like, I'm still not getting that top time. I don't know what's going on here. I don't care for the flying. It's fine for when you're just exploring. Like, it works perfectly fine for that. But when you're doing specifically like time trials, it's a little rough. Like the accuracy of it is just not there, which is, I think, why probably why Quidditch isn't in the game yet. I think that they're probably trying to figure out a better way to make flying work in like small spaces, because when you're hauling ass, you can get it done. But if you're in that little arena and you're trying to go, knock some Slytherin
turn around
through a hole, right?
Yeah.
Then like you're gonna have a little bit tougher time, and I think maybe that's why Quidditch isn't in there yet. But I'm having a good time.
Real quick on the flying thing, just to add, I watched a video. Maybe this is why you're having an issue. I specifically changed my settings on the camera movement and everything. I actually watched someone's video, so maybe I should send you my settings.
Drop that into the DM,
please
dude.
Yeah, because I'm not having a good time with that flying.
I don't have it on me. I'll have to look
to make it feel good. Then
yes,
I don't know. Maybe they should just make that the default. But hey, know, if I can change it and I can have a good time, that's good enough for me, right? So you know what? If that works out, I'll be thrilled, because that's one of my complaints. Is the story good? I couldn't tell you. You know why? Because I've been boondoggling. I've been lollygagging. I haven't touched that main story for probably the last 5-6 hours, because I've just been walking around the Highlands, shooting goblins and riding brooms. Like I don't even at this point, I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just hanging out, having a good time, going to school. Like it's one of those games where you just get lost in it super easy. Like every time I get a new spell, it's like, oh, I can use that for this thing, and then I'm gone for 3 hours finding all those things that I can use that spell on. So like my teachers probably think I'm dead. I don't know. I haven't been to that school in a minute.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Like it's a really good game, and I don't know if it's going to be game of the year, because it is week 5, and it's a tough year. Assuming all these games actually come out. And it, I really, I don't think it stands a chance at the Keeleys or anything like that. I think the political drama surrounding it probably is going to keep it away from a lot of awards like that, whether it deserves it or not. And it's going to get curb stomped by Breath of the Wild 2 whenever that comes out. Even though more than likely that game is just not going to hold up in comparison to this in terms of just like my personal opinion, and just like objective. Like it's going to be running on a Switch, and it's going to be a really empty open world compared to this, but it's gonna be game of the year because it's got that green boy on the cover, and that's all it really takes sometimes, you know what I mean? But it's, man, just the level of complexity and depth that they've been able to get in the actual grounds of Hogwarts and Hogsmeade it's really impressive. Like you can go, and even if it's not a thing that's happened yet in the storyline, because you're back in like what, the 1800s or something. You can go around and you can see like where these things are going to happen. Like Hagrid's probably not born yet, but his house is down on the ground, so you can go hang out and look at it, right? Mm-hmm. Or like, you know, you can go to the Great Hall and like all these really iconic locations from Harry Potter, and it's really cool to just sort of live in that space. I think that's really what I wanted from this game, more so than anything, is to just be like a Hogwarts simulator. Like the story, it could be whatever, you know. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. You know, I hope it's good, but like I said, I ain't been touching it. The combat, I agree, is top notch. I'm having a really good time with that. I just started getting the like, because you have like your wheel, your like Dragon Age style wheel of spells that you can do. Mm-hmm. And I just got my second one of those that I use almost exclusively for my room of requirement spells.
Yeah. Right.
And being able to just take those spells and put them in a different section, like that's really great.
That was smart.
It's a lot of fun.
Very smart. I have
unlocked
all four now
too.
Yeah, I got all
four.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's the third one you get, but you got four because of the first one you already have.
Yeah. It's I understand what Joe's saying with the characters. I wish that they were. It's not that I think that they're bad, but I think that they. So far, I haven't really done a whole lot with them, and I think that that's a little bit disappointing. Like right now, my only friends in the game are Natty and Sebastian, and I'm hoping that I get some other friends. Like I understand that the sort of the triangle of power in Harry Potter is a thing, right? You got, you know, Harry, Ron, Hermione. So it's like maybe this is just our gang of three. Maybe this is how we're rolling. But you know, I want more friends. That's my big complaint, is I need more friends.
That sounds like a you problem there.
You use that as a negative for the game. Not enough friends. Like IGN, not enough, too much water. Is gonna be like not enough friends.
Can I tell you, this is not a real complaint for the game, but something that has been really bothering me, probably because of my boondoggling, is I do not have the lockpicking spell yet, and so there's a lot of quests that I have.
Dude, you get that.
The last bit of this is on the other side of a door.
Hours
and I'm
in, dude. Hours in.
I know what it is. I know I've played these games before.
I'm in the same boat, Danny. I started traveling, doing everything else, and I still haven't unlocked it yet.
I haven't got it for a while. It's crazy.
By the way, as far as outside of changing your controls, you might maybe when you get your upgrade for the broom, it probably will feel better too.
Oh yeah, because
purposely I think it's kind of stinted.
Yeah.
Although it makes you at least the first upgrade I got just makes you faster, so it actually could make you worse.
We'll see.
But I'll send you my controls.
Good. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, in terms of like the big three of IPs from, you know, when I was a kid, like the 90s, early 2000s, right? For me, it was always Lord of the Rings #1, then Star Wars, then Harry Potter down here, and it was like, you know, I liked all of them, but Harry Potter was always that just like tertiary thing where it was like, I mean, this is fun and all, but it's, you know, it's down there because I got my boy Aragorn, Luke Skywalker. We're hanging out. We got everything going. But this, you know, I've been eating good lately. Last year I got Rings of Power, which was good as hell. I got Andor, which was good as hell, even better even. And now I'm getting this. Like I'm just vibing. I'm having a good time. It's been a good couple months.
I still got to watch Andor, by the way. I haven't seen it yet.
And look, I'll put it this way: one of the things that's magical, and I don't mean just, you know, Hogwarts. I mean that, you know, the world right now is you know, we're all walking a razor's edge, financially, emotionally, you know, politically. It's there's a lot going on in the world, and I will say that this is where the magic of games really do come and do things for people in that are a part of. It doesn't matter what platform. I don't care whether you're PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, or all three, or just, you know, part of the PC master race. You do find solace in games like this that allow you to be enveloped into this world. And for, like, I talked about it, like one of the first nights I started playing it, I don't stay up that late anymore because, folks, I'm old. You know, I just don't. And Mrs. Boom had gone to bed. It was like 11:30. I came out, and before I knew it, folks, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, what the F where did 3 hours go? And I actually had to force myself to shut everything down. That's how you know a game has its hooks in you. Umbra, before I announce the winners and we move on to the Lies of Pete topic, you said you wanted to add something to the conversation. What was that, man?
I did. I wanted to let Danny get his point, but he kind of said exactly what I was going to point to, which is I believe this game is a game of the year contender and possibly a winner. It is way too early to say so just yet. Of course, we got to get Starfield. We got to get
Yeah,
Zelda.
there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, Spider-Man 2.
So
you
many
got Breath of
games.
the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom.
Exactly.
There is a lot of really big games.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, it is definitely an early winner, a runner. To your point, though, Umbra. I mean, look, Elden Ring came out super early. So.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It did come out super early, and this kind of mimics that, which gives me that same feeling. And Retro even pointed out too, it does kind of. I agree with you. Once you're traveling around, as big as the old landscape is, I did kind of get a bit of an Elden Ring callback because Elden Ring was so gigantic and so much like variation in land and things you can do. But I think Danny hit it on the head, and that's what I was going to say is that though this game might be deserving of Game of the Year, politically it might be stunted from getting it, unfortunately. And I find that bad. That's unfortunate because this game does not deserve that. Feel however you feel about Rowling or whatever. This game has nothing specifically.
It should be viewed and judged by the game,
by the merits of itself. Exactly.
Yes. Right.
And the game actually has a lot of representation. I mean,
representation out there. And one of my favorite characters is the trans character. She is freaking awesome. She runs the bar. Right from jump, she was phenomenal. And like I said,
my voice was deeper than mine. It surprised me a little bit.
It wasn't a deep voice. But again, it's.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm glad you said that. I was thinking the same thing.
Talking, she was like, "Yeah, you want some butter beer?
Butter beer? You want some butter beer?
Some butter with that bread?"
Again, it's
that threw me off.
That's funny.
I'm hoping, Umbra, that when we get to the end of the year, and people look back at the experiences that we have all been we're all blessed to have. And again, it does not matter what console that you favor. Again, for here, everyone is welcome. You guys and gals know that. It's one of the staples. When my wife and I built this channel, it was going to be inclusive and inviting and welcoming. That's like our big thing. Anything else that happens afterwards is fine, but those are like really important principles. I hope, Umbra, that the labor of love that's on display for us right now, whether you are a die-hard Harry Potter or Hogwarts fan or someone just finding it for the first time, that this game gets judged on its merits, dude. Like, I really hope that political bullshit is not a part of the conversation.
I agree. I think, unfortunately, it will be hindered by that. And I get it. I get why people, doing what they're doing with those who are affected by it. But this game just has nothing to do with her outside of it obviously being her IP.
Yes.
I get it. I get that. You can't exactly separate it from it, but that goes back to the discussion of separating the art from the person. And she didn't make this, it's just her specific tied creation as far as the IP.
Yeah.
But these people behind the scenes, I'm sure they don't agree with her politically. I'm sure they don't, view ideologically the same way, and they are showing it in the game. Like I said, from representation that you absolutely would not have had back in the 18th century. By the way, I've even a woman I met, that was LGBTQ, that was married to another woman. Things like that are in there, and from other characters, obviously Black characters. Somebody was like, I didn't see any Mexicans in there. I'm like, you know what? I don't know. There's one girl in there. I think I forgot her name, but she seems Hispanic. I forgot her name. She's the one that the Quidditch girl who races really well.
Yes.
She's Hispanic. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, she is. Absolutely. Yeah. You can tell. Yep.
But I think it has a lot of representation. I think it will be held back because of political reasons, though, as far as getting that win. Even if it's deserving, unfortunately.
Yep, it's definitely deserving. And when I talk about game of the year, I'm probably really talking to myself. I don't expect us to win at the VGAs either. For me personally, it's like Hi-Fi Rush and now this game, and it's like, oh my god, dude, like this year is gonna be
even Dead Space remake. A lot of people
Dead Space. I put a couple of tweets out that got a lot of traction, some pictures, and it's just stunning. It's just Absolutely stunning. This year, look, all I can say, folks, before we move on to the last topic of the show and we announce the 4 winners for today, is the fact that gaming should be fun to you, regardless of what console. Obviously, this is an Xbox centric podcast, like some of the other ones that I have for Double Barrel Gaming. But this is a prime example. It should be a prime example that no matter where you're playing Hogwarts, right, regardless whether it's PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, if you want to play it there, or Xbox, you should be able to have a good time and enjoy yourself and be enveloped in this world that was built. Again, I honestly, and I mean no disrespect, the game is too good than it should be. That's all I will say. Because like I said, this has licensed IP potential for failure. We've seen it for years. Licensed IP just be terrible. This is everything but that, and a bag of chips. But let me announce the 4 winners again, folks. This is for $25 gift cards to your platform of choice. You want it for PlayStation, we will oblige. You want it for Nintendo Switch, we will oblige. If you are outside of the Americas, you are still going to get your $25. It'll just be the form of your world currency. We will pay the transfer fee, whatever it is. It's one of the things that we do. We're very proud to do. Everyone that supports this channel is going to be supported by us. Even if we have to spend a couple extra bucks to get you your winnings, it's not a problem. We're not rich, folks, by any stretch of the truth, but we want to do right by the people who do right by us. It's like I said, it's one of our big things. The 4 winners are RSJ Fan, Cammy28, King Webb, and Sin. Welcome, everyone, and congratulations. Reach out to me and do me a favor and DM me. We'll get you the code of your choice. Congratulations again. This was just a small little giveaway for something for Valentine's Day that my wife and I wanted to kind of do for the community, because you folks do so much for us. But I do want to move to the next topic, and of course it will be the final topic of the show, folks, and that's Lies of P. This game is getting a significant amount of buzz. I have the trailer in front of me. I'm going to play it. I'm going to mute it because I don't know if it has any music, but here is the 2-minute trailer. Let me just make sure that I can. Yeah,
I was like, it's not muted. You're gonna get a cancel.
I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so you know what? Let me add it to here. Present. Yeah, you know what? Let me do it like this because I can mute it.
Do it through the present mode, and you can mute it.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on, just let me find it. I got it right here because I want you guys to see what I'm seeing, and I can mute it right here. So this is going to be the trailer for Lies of P. I pulled it from IGN. I'm sorry, I had no choice because they're the only ones that had it. It is fair use. It's the only trailer that came out yesterday. I think it was like 14 hours ago. This is Lies of P. This is very, very Elden Ring-esque. And it's about Pinocchio, believe it or not. And it looks pretty freaking dope. Like I said, just take a look at it, and then we'll discuss in a hot second. Character models are tight.
Mm-hmm.
It does make me wonder if there's going to be any amount of like character creator in it, or if it's just going to be like you.
I think it's just you're playing as Pinocchio. I don't think there's any.
That's what I would think.
I think you might be able to change his look. I would imagine
like or something.
Yeah, with different RPG elements, because I haven't seen a real change in the character model itself. It's pretty much who they show. His powers though are what are in the swords and things.
Yeah,
I'm definitely interested in it. I think my favorite like factoid about this game is that originally when the developers were making it, they were doing it kind of as a joke, and then they got into the development on it, and they're like, oh no, this is actually like really good though.
I didn't even know that.
They
That's so
just
cool.
like double down on
Yeah.
it because they're like, it'll be funny.
Wow.
We'll do a Souls like, but it'll be Pinocchio. Like, no one will care about that. And then they're like, oh, but this is good though.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
There you go, Lies of P, folks. There's the trailer. Like I said, head over to IGN if you want to go check it out. That was, like I said, it was a new trailer that dropped yesterday. I could have showed the old one from 5 months ago, but I wanted to show the new footage that IGN got, and obviously they have it as an
Spectacular.
exclusive to the brand, which is fine. You know, like I said, I give IGN a lot of crap because they deserve it, but you know, it is fair use, and there was no sound, so it is what it is.
It looks insane. By the way,
yes,
Unreal Engine supremacy. That's also Unreal Engine 4.
wow,
Spectacular. Game looks amazing.
yeah. I got to be honest with you. And again, this is not a topic, but you brought it up, so I want to. You know, before we get into Lies of P, obviously Halo has taken a hit. In the worst way possible. I mean, again, multiplayer is still great, but I gotta say, I don't know how long it's gonna take to move from their current engine to Unreal Engine 5. But I'm happy to know that the next Halo, whatever that is going to be, whenever that is going to be, folks, is going to be Unreal Engine 5. It is the most versatile engine. And from what we understand right now, as we speak, the fine folks at Epic Games are currently on loan or being paid by Microsoft for 343 Industries right now as we speak to learn that engine and help with the transition from Slipspace to Unreal Engine 5. So the actual owners of the engine, the masters themselves, are going to be working with 343. So you would imagine that the transition is going to be hopefully seamless. And in maybe 2 or 3 years, we do see the return of Master Chief. And at that point, do you reboot the series? Do you follow suit? I don't know what you do. I know that it's going to be it should be a big topic of discussion at some point.
No
just
reboot.
Not so much today.
I would absolutely not reboot it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think Master Chief needs a reboot. I think they need to continue the story from where it ended and give us the the content that we were expecting. It's just going to take a couple of years because Slipspace, they shouldn't have gone with Slipspace. Again, I don't want to get too much into that because that's a deep dark hole. I do want to cover Lies of P. I want to go first to Retri on this because Retri, this year in particular, and I know that there's a story out about Game Pass losing money and losing not so much money, but
cannibalizing sales.
It's cannibalizing itself with it's different from what Phil Spencer said in 2018 versus 2023, and it was in the documents, folks.
Wait, hold on. You telling me 5 years later things can change?
I know,
that's crazy.
That's what I was going to go to. I had to ban a guy in the chat. He said, well, lies of Phil Spencer. Aren't you going to talk about? I mean, like, Jesus Christ. Why does it always have to be us versus them? Can't you just come to the show and kind of just enjoy the conversation? I think this has been one of my favorite shows of the year because all we did is talk about gaming, like the fun of gaming, right? So let's get into Lies of P. And I go to you first, Retri, because you had said at the end of 2022 that you believed there was going to be double or triple the amount of content coming into Xbox Game Pass this year. And already...
Hold on, let me clarify. I said double or triple. I had made a video at the end of December, and it was talking about 45 games that I basically talked about. It was triple that number, not what they've done previously. I actually think it's probably going to be the same number of games. You're just getting better games, in my opinion, this year. This is going to be the greatest year, I think, in gaming. I think it's going to finally take away the
2007.
2007. But for Game Pass itself, I also think it's going to be the greatest year because the third-party deals, even though a lot of them are AA, they're AA juggernaut games. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. And Lies of P is a perfect example of one of them, where we saw at one of the Game Awards that the Sony guys' #1 game that they wanted was Lies of P. So there you go. You know what I mean? And it's ending up on the service. So yeah, I mean, this year's going to be stacked. The value for Game Pass is going to be insane. I think last year's, I don't do the measurements for it. I'll let other people do this. But I think last year's was somewhere around $7,000 worth in Game Pass. I'm sure it'll bypass this year. We had around 200 games. I do expect probably 200 games to hit Game Pass this year easily. But what's more important is the quality of those games, in my opinion, is going to be higher than it probably ever has as an overall, rounded value. If you go by Metacritic and all that, crap, which I don't like to do anymore, because we see what happens with something like Hogwarts, where, Wired gives a 1 out of 10, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, Liza P looks. Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, we actually
talked,
if you missed it, we specifically talked about that yesterday on the Xbox lunch break special. We went in on that, and we had Skullsy TV join us yesterday. Obviously, if you missed it, go check it out, because not only did we talk specifically about that and the disgracefulness of it, we also had a new IP from Bethesda called Spy Team that was dropped by Skullsy TV that he found, and that again we elaborated on what we thought it might be, but it sounds like it could potentially be Bethesda's version of Spies versus Mercs. And if that in fact is the case, folks, we are in for a treat. And he actually suggested that not only is the game has been in development for quite some time, but it could be shadow dropped based on the success of Hi-Fi Rush. So if you missed that show, definitely go check that out. But
yeah, it was a good show. Yeah, but this game looks more like Bloodborne to me than it does Elden Ring, because it's definitely more linear. Yeah, it's not open world based. And you're looking at Bloodborne and the combat, and you look at Liza P, and man, it feels like they're basically cousins or something. But I love when it's funny that Daniel brings up the fact that this game started off kind of as a joke idea, and then they just leaned into it, because I don't know if they put it out to the masses and the masses were like, yes. Because as soon as I saw this idea, it reminded me, I don't know if you guys know about the game like Alice, created by American McGee back in the day. I absolutely love when they take like children's stories and twist it into a dark type of world. And that's exactly what this is. And I'm like, yes, it's just like Alice. They're doing it again. This is so cool. So as someone who's new to the Souls type of games, I'm really looking forward to this. Elden Ring, of course, I loved. I still have to play Bloodborne. I have it on my PlayStation. I got it for like $10 and I still haven't touched it. I know it's terrible.
I'm in the same boat. Don't feel too bad.
Yeah, okay, good. I know it's a great game. I haven't played it because I was waiting. I just assumed they were already gonna remake it. So I was just waiting for that to happen.
They probably still will. I can see it.
Yeah, I see a remake coming for that game for sure, and it's what Sony does really does best. It's right now there.
I mean, boy, I hope so, but I think it's a little complicated because they own the IP, but then FromSoft made the game, and it's like, there's FromSoft busy.
It might not happen. Yeah, there's a chance it doesn't happen because of what Danny just said. But on the other side, like this also shows too. Like I know, like me and Umbro love to praise like UE5, but Jesus, we were talking about UE4 for Hogwarts, and now UE4. This is what happens when the engine's been out for so long and it's so matured, and you can take every little ounce out of it and squeeze everything. Because this looks like a UE5 game to me. Like if you were to show this to your average Joe, they wouldn't. I don't think they would know, because the lighting looks really good, the animations look really good, the combat looks really good. So I'm hoping that this hits. We still don't have a date on this, so I'm wondering if it's going to be second half of this year. But honestly, I don't care, because there's so many games to play that this is going to be just another hopefully good game. But I do have a good feeling about Liza P, and I hope it hits.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's bring an Infinite Number on the conversation. Obviously, this is getting a lot of comparisons to Bloodborne, which of course Retri said. It is a multi-plat, folks. It is going to be on PlayStation 5. It's going to be on PC. The only difference is that it's going into Xbox Game Pass day and date, and for your $15 a month, it's going to be one of those big games. Now, whether you consider AAA or AA, again, the three bigs that are coming into the service, you have Wulong, which, by the way, looks stunning. right? You have Lies of P, and then next week, Atomic Heart. And on top of that, you had Hi-Fi Rush a couple of weeks ago. It's just insane how many quality games are coming into the service on the platform of Xbox. And I'll say this, and I'll say it again: it is a value that's hard to deny in a world where things are so unbelievably expensive. And one of the first things to go, we know, folks, is entertainment. So if you are someone that's already subscribed, you're like, yeah, I'm eating good, like Daniel likes to say. But if you're considering, like, man, this is 76.43 if I live in New York to buy this game. Yes, it looks like Bloodborne. Yes, it's probably going to be good, but man, I don't know, because, well, eggs are $12, right? So do you invest in Xbox and get games like Atomic Heart and Hi-Fi Rush and Wu Long and Liza P, which are all new IPs, by the way, for your $15 a month? I find it hard. I find it hard, Umbra, not to take them up on that. But let's get back to the game, brother. What are your thoughts on what you've seen?
Oh, it looks spectacular. It's much like Retri said. It definitely does give you the Bloodborne feel aesthetically, because it has that old school Victorian look to it. But the shadows and the art style is just so well done. It really brings you in. It's one of those things, like I said, UE is really good with, and it's just drawing you into that world because of how well it makes everything give it that lifelike look. And if you have a really great art style, it's even better. And if this game is 60 frames, which I'm pretty sure it will be, this is going to be a spectacular game. I don't know if it'll hit the Elden Ring height. I doubt it, very likely, especially because it's stacked year. But I expect it to be really, really great, personally. What I am interested in is hearing some of the voice acting, because we didn't hear so much of that the last few videos we saw of it. But here you can hear the little Jiminy Cricket thing on the side of his hip inside that little canister that he had. So I'm interested in seeing how they're going to go with that and exactly what that will be, what that disembodied voice will be. It doesn't seem like it will probably, it'd be funny if it actually was a cricket, but I'm guessing it'll be something mechanical or something of the nature. What I'm interested in learning too, because it's like Danny pointed out, they did start it off as a joke, like he said. How then are they going to handle, his father in that, if you will, in that case? Like, he seems like the antagonist from what I've seen, right? So what is it? What was his name? The father. What was the father's name in Pinocchio?
Geppetto.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to handle it with a Geppetto. Now there is a story.
I just kept thinking Monstro, but that's the whale.
right. But Geppetto, if you all, I don't know if you all have ever read it, but this is one of my favorite series that came out called Fables, and that's where, of course, we got the story, the spinoff story from for Bigby Wolf with Wolf Among Us. He actually comes from that series, Fables, and in that series, I don't want to give too much away, but Geppetto is in there, and he is an antagonist. So I'm interested in seeing how they're going to portray him in this comparatively. Oh, there you go. There you go. I see
dropping the graphic novel.
He said that's a challenge. Hold
Got
on.
it. Yeah.
Challenge. Yeah. One of my favorite series of all time right there, actually. If you all have not read that, definitely read it. Fables is just spectacular. But yeah, it makes me think of that in a sense. And so I'm actually hyped for that, because that toy soldier arc or whatever it was in Fables, I forgot what it was, been years, that actually kind of makes me look at this in that way, actually, now that I'm thinking on it more. So I'm really interested to see how they'll do with that. Like you said, Retri, I think it's more linear, so it's not going to, I think, be hindered by at least we won't be hindered by, I think, so much time cost in playing the game.
In the open world.
Like a respect your time.
Exactly. I think it'll be a shorter 20-hour game, maybe, if not 30. So that's cool too. I'm just hoping it's really solid. The combat looks really damn good. I'm sure they're going to have a ton of different weaponry we can use and things of that nature. I'm just interested in seeing how it all plays out.
Again, no. If you're an Xbox gamer and you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, there's no risk. Literally download it. If it's too hard, then you just be like, you know what? Nope, not for me. I hated Bloodborne X, Y, and Z, or you play it and you like for me again. I've said this before. I'm not a Souls guy. I'm not a roguelike guy, but somehow or another, last year, Vampire Survivors and Elden Ring were at the top of my list at number 1 and number 2, and at any given day could have switched. As great as Elden Ring was, at some points, Vampire Survivor was better. At other points, I was like, you know what? I love Vampire Survivor. The fact that it's a $5 game is ridiculous, but Elden Ring really did things for me that I didn't expect, and I expect the same thing for this. Daniel, let's get your hot take, and we'll get everyone out of here. You obviously are a fan of the Fables. You just pulled out the book. Is this game hitting for you based on what you've seen?
Yeah, so it's one of those things, right, where I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a game that I think looks really good. I think it's going to be, I think honestly, probably one of the sleeper hits of this year. But I think it's very important what time of year it comes out, because it is that game where it's like, is this going to pull me off Zelda? Is this going to pull me off Resident Evil 4 or Starfield or Spider-Man? It's like, no, it's not, but it's going to be pretty high on the list after those things, right? So if it can find a nice window where I'm not playing those games, like Atomic Heart is in a rough place for me personally right now, because it comes out next week and I'm still going to be playing Hogwarts. So it's going to be, first on the list as soon as I get a free moment. Yeah. But Atomic Heart's probably going to be something that I don't play day one. And I think that Lies of P is probably also going to fall into that category, even though I think both of those games look really good and I'm super excited to play them. But I don't know when I'm going to have time, because it's such a crazy year. I do think it looks, it's funny that Umber brings up Fables. I actually, I was also kind of thinking that along that same vein. I thought it was like Fables, but like instead of back in like, what is it? I guess like the post-war America, it looks like it's very much like a London sort of situation. Like
Definitely.
It looks like if you took Fable and just, or not Fables, different things, and applied it to Bloodborne, you know what I mean? Just like took those two and just,
yeah,
then that's what you get. I think it's going to be a really good thing. Like I said, I think the only issues that I foresee having with it are the timing of when it comes out and potentially performance. I don't know. We haven't seen like a long unbroken section of gameplay, which we don't know when the game's coming out, so I'm not concerned about that necessarily. But because it is a smaller team and it's sort of a game that I don't think people were necessarily expecting to be a big hit before it was shown, I think that maybe the performance is going to take a little bit of a hit. I wouldn't necessarily expect 4K 60 out of this, but I think it's going to be really good.
You know what's crazy? Yeah. The craziest thing about all of this is that it launches straight into Game Pass.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Sell it.
To be honest, I'm I work full time. Most weeks I work some level of overtime. It's that situation where this and Atomic Heart and a bunch of these other games that are coming into Game Pass are not ones that I would have been able to buy or play without Game Pass. I would be, especially now the games are more expensive, I would be playing Hogwarts, I'd be playing Spider-Man, I'd be playing Resident Evil and Starfield, and that would be like it for the year, right? And
all the bangers for Danny.
I mean, I'm just rolling in the deep, baby. But Game Pass really sort of is going to let me play a lot of these other smaller games that I really wanted to play. Like even like Hi-Fi Rush, I probably wouldn't have bought even for $40. Yeah. But for having it in Game Pass makes me able to play it, and then I'm able to understand like, hey man, like this game is probably Game of the Year contender. I mean, it's gonna be a tough year, but it's gonna be on at least some people's list for sure.
Yeah.
So definitely. I'm really excited about it.
Crazy.
Good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. Listen, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to once again read the winners of today's contest. It was again one of the smaller ones that we just dropped it like it was hot, so to speak, because it's Valentine's Day, and Mrs. Boom and I wanted to do something a little special. RSJ Fan, Cami 28, King Web, and Sin. You all have won a $25 gift card to your platform of choice. Please. Email me, go to my about page and get my email address right there, or DM me or message me on Xbox Live. That's the best place to catch me, and we'll get you that code immediately by end of day for sure. But let's get to the outros. And of course,
Hey,
let me
Boom,
get. Let me.
I think you have some.
Yeah, we got some super chats I got to get to real quick. There's been quite a few of them. Sir X-Man dropped a $2 super chat and says, "We'll see Windows 12 advertising before we see Xbox. It's true." Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't
Windows
argue
is
that.
bigger share the pie for them, though. To be fair,
No, it's true. It's true. But Brett Bingham, good friend of the program, generous friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat and says, "I have the skull robe too, Boom. I wear a red featureless mask as well. I got
the red mask too.
Yes, I just got that red mask. It looks badass. I'm not going to front.
a lot of slithering behavior from Hufflepuff.
I
Yeah,
know,
right?
but I don't
Right?
like the evilness of it all. I
Yeah.
like the
Look,
Hufflepuff
Hufflepuff is just really susceptible to peer pressure.
Is that what
You two Slytherins are out there with your Avada Kedavras. I'm over here being a
stuff.
good boy in my library tower
God.
with my Stupefies and my Petrificus Totalis, and I'm
That's funny.
just out here trying to raise the moral of this team.
He's just doing non-harmful spells on people.
Yeah,
huh?
I actually haven't taken on any of the dark art stuff, to be honest with you. Not even one. I've done everything else.
I
with
am
the dark
going to
arts.
abuse them dark arts.
No, that's
I'm
okay.
going to.
Right.
Just like I did in KOTOR, I'm going
Yeah.
evil.
Crucio. I'm going to be hitting
Uh,
Crucios and Avada Kedavras on people left and
Oh
right.
my goodness. Jesse DeBarrios, who's not only a new channel member, he drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "To me, Hogwarts feels as big and packed as Skyrim was." That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It does have that
Yeah.
Skyrim-esque kind of a feeling. We also have Brett Brigham drops an additional $2 super chat, and he says, Avada Kedavra. Avada Kedavra. There you go. So that's the evil spells. I suppose.
The killing spell. Yes.
Highlander 001, who's been a channel member for 6 months, drops a $2 super chat and says, "I'm happy not to not be talking about the ABK deal." Yeah, I mean, listen, it's important, but gaming is even more important, and that's what we're here to do. Jesse DeBarrios drops an additional $5 super chat and says, "How was Nintendo not made a VR headset where you slide the Switch into it and use the Joy-Cons?" I think that the weight would probably be altering for anyone, especially because it's focused on kids.
No, they did. I think they did exactly that. There was the Labo one.
Yeah,
that
was kind of
cardboard.
I was just going to say,
And
you have a cardboard with or
you
something.
can stick this.
Yeah, I mean, like I think
Stick this on your face,
it was
kid.
terrible. That thing came and went. It was awful.
Put this in your pipe and smoke it, kid.
But Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I got my wife a Series S for Valentine's Day so she could play Hogwarts, and she loves it. Yes, I'm safe for another year." That's good stuff, brother.
Safe for another year.
That's good stuff. Danny Passion, official good friend of the program, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Bloodborne runs like trash on PlayStation 5. Hello, panel. Hello to you as well." And I did not know that. Danny Passion, official, drops an additional $2 super chat and says, "Here's 31 minutes of Lies of P gameplay."
Oh, bet.
Yeah, I know there's a big one out there. But
I go look that up. I didn't know that was the thing.
Thanks for the
yeah,
shout
we
out,
actually only have so much time, but let's get to the outros. Retri, we'll start first with you, brother. Sell your brand. Talk about Game Pass _daily. Obviously, to start 2023 is a little slow, but we are now getting into full swing. Monday through Friday, even sometimes on the weekend, you're doing videos. Talk about where people can check that out. Subscribe to your YouTube channel or reach out to you on social media.
Sure. So I'm Game Pass _daily on Twitter, but Game Pass daily on TikTok and YouTube. And I, like Boom said, I make videos all the time about Game Pass, the stuff that's coming out, the stuff that's going, rumors, acquisitions, basically, if it has to do with Game Pass, I'm talking about it. And of course, we also have a new show, me and Web Dave, that is coming into the second episode, is actually going to be this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is Gamers Council Live. That's where we take the chat, basically becomes part of the conversation. So we will we'll have our topics, and then when people in the chat start asking questions, we will literally take the entire podcast and change direction based on what the chat is saying to us. And we're excited about kind of this new premise and the podcast. So hopefully you guys will show up. We had a good turnout last time, and we will be there this Sunday, and that is on his channel at Outbreak Gamers on YouTube. So check us out, guys. We'll be here this Sunday to talk games with y'all.
Real quick, breaking news regarding the FTC.
Boy.
This is big. folks. This is big, and there's problems.
We almost made it. We're so close.
According to Everborn Saga, some partisan drama appears to be unfolding at the FTC as the last remaining Republican commissioner announces her resignation. She cites numerous disagreements with the current FTC chair, Lena Khan. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. And according to the complaint from this Republican, Lena Khan's disregard for the rule of law and due process makes it impossible for me to continue serving the FTC. This is big, folks. Yeah, we're going to get into this and a couple other. It was announced that Microsoft will be going and flying out to the EU Commission on the 21st and sitting down with those folks to plead their case that this deal should go through, offer the concessions that they're offering, and maybe we get a decision. We'll be talking about that and the Lena Khan situation, which again, I think that people are just tired of it. She's not following the rules or the law that was put out, and you cannot change law for the betterment of your argument. It's illegal. You cannot do that. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On the primetime gaming, and hopefully you'll tune into that. But Danny, sell your brand, brother. Talk about where people can check out your short and long content, specifically if you're a fan of DC. And really, there's a lot to get excited about because James Gunn is making some monster changes. You yourself had made some changes to the DCEU. Where can people check that out? Subscribe to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Yeah, okay. So you can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McG or on YouTube at just Daniel McG. That's Daniel MC capital G. We do reviews, news, everything like that. My most recent video was a Hi-Fi Rush review that I'm pretty happy with.
Really good stuff, dude.
Thank you very much. And like Boom said, I've been rewriting the DCEU. Me and James Gunn were working.
No big deal. Just rewriting the DC.
We're just working in tandem. Just me and James Gunn hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah, hang out with James Gunn. He's a good dude.
It's one of those things. The next video I'm working on is actually I'm gonna break down the chapter 1 sort of slate that he laid out for us. I'm gonna talk about sort of the comics that are involved with at least the references that he's using. I don't know necessarily how strictly he's gonna follow those comic books, but we'll see. So I'm going to be recording that today. So hopefully it'll go up either tomorrow, or if I fall back into Hogwarts, then Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see. But it should be up soon. And we actually just passed 600 subscribers on the channel. So we're closing in on 1,000. I'm getting really excited about it. So nice. I'd love to see some of you all over there.
Very nice.
You muted, Boom.
Boom, you muted.
Yes, Infinite Umbra. Let's get you on out of here, brother. Sell your brand. Talk about where can people find you on Friday evenings with a host of incredible content creators, community members. Let's get some hot info into what you're currently doing for your own channel. And where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yes, indeed. You all can find me on Twitter, of course, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. And of course, I'm working on Minds Behind the Scene. I have to wait for some pieces to fall into place before I can proceed, unfortunately. But it's getting there. Can't wait to get to it. As far as Friday, of course, you all can find us on the Xbox Infinite podcast. And this week we have Miles Dumpierre joining us.
That's a good one, dude. That's good.
Absolutely. Should be a really good discussion. So you all come by Friday, 7:00 Eastern, and join us in the chat and such. We value having you all in there chit-chatting just as much as you all do here. Great chat as always. Thank you all. Oh,
yeah,
and
brother.
Slytherin gang, stand up.
Oh my goodness. There you go. You snakes. You bunch of snakes.
Yes.
Listen, once again, a big thank you to everyone. We had over 450 people here. Again, the show just continues to grow. We are incredibly grateful, thankful, and humbled by the amount of support, both financially through channel support and, of course, super chats, as well as the likes, views, and thumbs ups that we get. And obviously, the subs are a big deal. We're 238 away, folks, from 12K. I don't know when we're going to hit it, but we'd like to hit it soon. The goal is 15K. It is a lofty goal. I don't know if we hit it this year, but we're certainly going to give it the old college effort with 5 live shows per week, 20 shows per month. And sometimes you get a couple extra bonus ones, a lot of content. and it's all classy. It's all done with professionalism. Obviously, every show has a new opening thanks to Sean Labrie. And obviously, we're going to continue to invest. We will be launching our merch shop on the channel and privately mid-March. I'm waiting on 1 or 2 designs from Ben Kenobi, and we have everything in place. We're going to launch with 5 designs to start, and I'm really happy with the work that he does, and what he's doing now, and what he's already done for us. And of course, again, the 4 winners are SJ Fan, Cami 28, King Webb, and Sin. You fine folks are winners of the $25 gift card to your platform of choice. Please hit me up with in the DMs, and we'll get you those codes ASAP. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.